And then I'm going to go ahead and do the live on Facebook.
Just give me one quick second myself.
Yeah, you've got about 30 seconds probably.
Oh, that's more than I needed, or it is, maybe it's not. So let me get myself up.
Chief Ackerley was invited to tonight's meeting, but was unable to make it.
Understood. For some reason, I don't see my files today. Hey, Kevin, can you just quick re-email me the link to the agenda and stuff? Or Kevin, I just, Alex?
Yeah, I will. One moment, please.
No problem. I know you're pulling people in. Never mind, I got it. I found it.
Okay. Okay, Jay, it looks like everyone is in.
All righty. Outstanding. Glad to have everybody here. So why don't we call this to order at 7:04. My apologies for being a few minutes late. We had an executive session over a legal matter that took us a little bit longer. That being the case, so we'll call it to order at 7:04. If you want to proceed with the roll call, that would be great.
Yes. Valerie Renthaler.
Here.
Norma Greco.
Muted. Here.
Adam McDowell.
Here.
Matt Castiglia.
Here.
Kevin Collins.
Here.
And Vice President Diane Law.
Here.
Mayor Paul Gamrat.
Here.
Council President Jay Dorn.
I am here. All right, we'll begin following the roll call with the Pledge of Allegiance. I know I rely on in this Zoom world for the mayor to bring us a flag, if you will. Normally I would direct myself easily to the flag, but now it's on a video screen for us, so we can do that. And so as such, if you can stand, and I'm going to, yeah, how's that? I can stand like that at least. And begin the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible,
with liberty
and justice for all.
Hoorah. So trying to time that on the Zoom, I've seen people sing and dance and do all kinds of things, but for some reason, we just cannot get that pledge synced. Such is the life.
We need a producer.
Sad but true. But welcome to the April regular meeting. I'm glad to have everybody here. Of course, there's been holidays that have passed and all kinds of things that have gone on. And we do have a bit on our plate. So we will begin with the beginning. One of the most important reasons to have meetings is to hear from our constituents, people just like us who live in our same neighborhoods. That being the case, at this time, what I would ask is that if you would like to provide comment to council, if you click on the participants, there's an option to raise your hand. If you are able to find that and raise your hand, I will call those people first if you have an interest in speaking. At time that I call you, you have 3 minutes to speak. Please state your name and your address at that time. If you are unable to find that, if you raise your hand and you're on video, I will then call those folks. And if you're not on video and you're unable to raise your hand, if you unmute, I will then kind of call through people who are unmuted, but please don't speak until I call you if you're not on video and you're unmuting. That being the case, I will look now for anyone who would like to speak. If you'd like to raise your hand, I would be happy to call upon you. And so first out the gate, a name I know of one of the hardest working people in Churchill, Mr. Belke, Ken Belke. But I need you to unmute or we can't hear the wonderful things that you're about to say, Ken. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ken Balke, 2007 Hampstead Drive. And my comments here are all still dealing with the tree committee because of some significant developments. I have a good, not so good, and then a request. The good is we're moving forward with the tree planting event at Wilkins Elementary, which will be the first one for the school district. We're actually have been working, helping to align the group, get some publicity through either newspapers and TV to cover the event, to get a positive story for the school district and our whole community. And also I learned that Beulah Church is having a large tree planting event this coming Saturday. They plan to plant more than 100 and some trees, continuing on their property with the intent of actually getting to about 500 trees across the Presbyterian Church grounds. The not so good is we got word last week from Renee Delney. She's the chair of Wilkinsburg's Shade Tree Committee, and she also does work cleaning up the Chalfont Run stream going through the Greenaway and Bullock Pen Park. And she told us she came across hemlock trees in Bullock Pen that she thought had this, it's called hemlock woolly adelgid. It's a very invasive species, and it over a period of time, the trees will die. So over the weekend, I've alerted Alex and the tree committee members and Diane Law to the situation. Well, my wife Ruth Ann and I looked at our own hemlocks, and we noticed that the disease is starting on our trees. And we've already called in Jason Ryan to examine our trees tomorrow. But when we went down to Bullock Pens, we were devastated at what we saw. These are 24 hemlocks that were planted by Joan and Milton Gottlieb about 10 years ago. And actually, when Tree Pittsburgh did the tree canopy map, this was one of 3 areas in the borough where we had new growth of canopy. And every branch of every tree has this woolly adelgid. It's a white waxy. I sent pictures to Alex and others. So Alex is working with me. We're going to try getting Jason there to see what we're dealing with here and how extensive is it, because we really don't want to lose these beautiful hemlocks that have been planted, particularly if everything goes right with the land trust getting the Greenaway, and with putting Bullock Pens as part of that effort. We don't want to be sitting with 24 trees being stripped because of this insect. The request is, we have other tree items coming up that I've worked with the tree committee and Alex, and I'd like to ask, instead of me having just my 3 minutes as a resident, if we could get this as a topic on either the May or June working session of the council as a topic. There's other matters that are never going to take more than 3 minutes to discuss and will involve the council, as well as getting advice from our our council as well too. From legal advice for some things that we're dealing with in the rights of way of some trees that have died and probably need to be removed. So that's the end of my comments.
Thank you, Ken. And you certainly can, in kind of official business as the committee, put something on the agenda. I don't think that's problematic. So I will talk with Alex. Alex, just remind me as we start the agenda for next month that's something.
Okay, thank you.
Looking for other folks. I see next up, give me 1 second to call. I give 1 second on the hands up. I don't see any other on the electronic hands up. So first video hand up was Nicole McGinnis. You're gonna need to unmute. There you go.
Did I do it?
You did it.
Okay. Hi, Council. It's Nicole McGinnis. Nicole, Nikole McGinnis, 2 N's, 2 S's, 34 Churchill Road. I wanted to come to you guys and just extend my gratitude to all of you in regards to this chicken ordinance and that we're bringing it to the table today. I was a little off the last time I showed up. I had some medical bad news, as you might be aware from our first meeting, and I was out of sorts. So by all means, I do not expect to write rules, and I apologize for coming across curt or any way that I had. I love you guys. I absolutely have fallen in love with everyone on council in the city. I love this city. I love this borough. And I just wanted to extend my appreciation to all of you for taking the time to actually consider this. This may possibly, if it passes tonight, be one less thing that we'll have to worry about in the coming year with all that's to come. So that's it. I just wanted to say thank you. I look forward to being more of a part of this borough and for all good things to come.
We appreciate your comments. Truly, it's not always that we get the thank you in, but also there's never a need to apologize. Frustration council is part of what we're part of our job too, is to hear your good days and your bad days, and to be here and listen and do what we can, irrespective of that day. So we thank you in both ends. Looking at anybody else who wanted to comment, checking on the space of video first. If you had something you wanted to say, please raise your hand. Looking past video, if you wanted to comment and you don't have video on, if you want to unmute, I'm looking to see if anybody is unmuted. Alrighty, I don't see anybody. It's a little tricky in this space, so I try to give it a couple extra seconds, quite frankly, just because once we move past this, then the public comment is closed. And so I don't want anyone to miss their opportunity. All right, I have looked. I don't see anybody unmuted. Jim, are you unmuted? Okay, just checking because I thought I saw somebody unmuted, but they did not respond. That being the case, then we will close public comment. Again, I thank you all for the comments as always, and we will move into some of the regular items that we have to go through today, beginning with, of course, I think what we have is minutes next. You are muted. Vice President Lai, you're saying it, but we can't.
Here we go again. Okay, could we have the agenda back, Alex? Thank you. Mr. President, I move to accept the meeting minutes from March 1, 2021, which was the council workshop meeting, and the March 8 regular council meeting, and the March 18 special meeting to hire the 2 patrol officers.
Second.
Quick to the second, don't even have to ask. Is there any discussion on the matter? Just as a matter of to the public, obviously we hold our regular meetings, but we did in fact hire 2 new officers in the borough as well. And so I think we may even have some folks of that type that I see today, as a matter of fact. And I don't know, Mr. Mayor, if you want to do that during the mayor's report. So I will leave that to you in terms of how you'd like that to go.
Yeah, I thought I would do it right after the mayor's report, because that's coming soon.
Thank you. Unless there's any other discussion, looking at council, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And minutes are accepted without opposition. Moving us on to the treasurer's reports. I assume people have had the opportunity to review the treasurer's report. At this time, I would entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's reports.
Mr. President, I move to accept the treasurer's report, and if I may, also move to direct the finance office to pay the bills for the Churchill Borough accrued since March 8th, 2021.
I like what you did there, sir. Well played. Well played. Is there a second? to that?
Second.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Now I've got to roll down to the bills. As a matter of discussion, anytime that we have bills over the amount of 15,000, we always go through those publicly. And then recently, our fantastic staff have ensured that not only are we able to show the bills of $15,000 or more, but then dissecting it between 15,000 and more, 10 to 15,000 and 5,000 and above. As you can see there, you know, rather than simply read through them, I will point out kind of main purpose. Again, Alcosan, which is the pass-through for treatment service at $34,937.84. Bigliotti Landscaping, which is basically our road work, in the amount of $15,938.08. Gateway Engineers, which somewhere on here is a man with a very, very adorable little child, who gets the bill us for $31,587.94, of which, and this is our engineers, $9,869.04 of that was reimbursed through Hillwood as it was related to the development space. Then there is the traffic systems and servicing, STS traffic system and servicing, which is for actually a repair grant. So again, reimbursable in the amount of $18,795.96. Then a gentleman who likes to take vacations quite a bit, but gives us fantastic information in our solicitor, who works for the firm of Tucker Arnsberg Attorneys. That's Mr. Rob up there. He bills us for $10,548 for March. We do need salt, as it turns out, and so as a result, again, in the world of keeping our roads nice, that ran us $10,800.61 to American Rock Salt. And then Pittsburgh Public Safety Supply, turns out we needed some ballistic vests for some folks, keep everybody safe out there, at $12,633. And then, as we all know, the rising cost of healthcare doesn't seem to go down anytime soon. And so our health plan at $6,602.44. That is the discussion on my end. Is there any other discussion either pertaining to the report or the bills? Hearing none. All in favor of accepting the report and paying bills?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Bills are paid. Report is accepted without opposition. This moves us on to the mayor's report. I will cede the mic to the mayor as he will give the detail of his report.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I will, as reported to me, I wish to inform council that there were no unusual events or no serious crimes during the month of March 2021. Our officers responded to 749 calls of service, 2,019 calls year to date for service resulting in 8 arrests. Chief Ronald Ackerley has reported that the total amount of magisterial fines collected for the month of March 2021 was $1,494.57. The total for the year is $2,343.04. The department's 5 police vehicles logged 5,678 miles in the past month. The chief is also pleased to announce that we are welcoming 2 new officers to the Churchill Police Department during the month of April 2021. Officer Elizabeth Ann Sage and Officer Justin Holt will be trained for a mandatory period by our current officers. Both officers come to us with prior law enforcement experience and are highly recommended by these agencies they previously served in. The chief is confident that both officers will be a perfect fit for Churchill and will display the type of excellence, professionalism, and pride in serving and protecting the residents of the borough that we have become to expect from all of our officers. I also wanted to thank Chief Ron Ackerley and Officer Jeff Hensler, who provided a police escort for our annual bunny parade throughout the borough. I would also like to thank the chief and Officer Fabrizi, for providing police support during the Saturday, April 17th, 2021 Chalfont Run watershed cleanup. Thanks to Ralph and the borough for lending the safety cones for the event. Details and other related statistics concerning the police department during the month of March 2021 are reported on the attached police department reports. I just had one other note here I had aside. And while I have everyone's attention, the watershed thing, the people, the volunteers who came out really appreciated our Officer Fabrizi having his presence down on Beulah Road, escorting people across the street from the parking area to help pick up the litter. It was a big help. It slowed the traffic down and made everyone feel a lot safer. And also thanks to Alex. I saw Alex showed up at the day as well. It was a very good thing to come out and see. One other note I have here from Officer Lewandowski. As you know, his father recently passed away, and I have a thank you note from him saying, thank you for thinking of our family during this difficult time, that the basket was appreciated and enjoyed by all. And he did tell me personally there were a lot of goodies in there that they enjoyed very much. And now I have everything. I see that Officer Holt is online with us tonight, and I asked the chief if we could get the two new officers on and get council a chance to meet them, and also the residents who are also on with us tonight. I'm not sure if I see Officer Sage. Oh, there she is.
She's just
Okay,
under a different name. I caught her earlier.
Oh, okay,
so.
okay. I see Mark. Okay, Mark Gilmore. I got you. Okay, so we have both new officers here. I had the pleasure of swearing them in the other day at the Borough Building. It was a small ceremony, but important. So they are officially sworn in and have been out with our officers, getting to learn the borough. And when I talked to Elizabeth the other day, she said she spent a lot of time meeting a lot of people. I'm sure Justin had the same way, getting to know our borough residents. So I'd just like to, introduce the two new officers. I know they'll, like the chief said, a good fit for our community. You'll find out we got a lot of great citizens. They're happy to see you around. I told the mayor of Forest Hills the other day that we had hired our first female officer. He was just blown away by it. He said, that is great. So that's something we have under our belt. We really appreciate that. So I don't want to put anybody on a spot, but if either officer has anything to say, this would be your opportunity.
If you don't put them on the spot, I will. So to choose who unmutes first, so you can say hello.
Okay, there you go. Oh, we will have another ceremony sometime in the future, a little bit more, still with the protocol, but where we'll have a little bit more public ceremony, hopefully in the Borough Building sometime in the future.
Yeah, I'll spare them a tiny bit and not make them talk too much. I will tell council and our residents. I did have the pleasure and opportunity of meeting both of them. Justin, way to jump first. Oh, you both hit it. So I did have the chance to meet both of them and speak with them. A few things that I want kind of everyone to know, both residents and council. The conversation we had was about really what Churchill is, what we expect from our officers in relation to our citizens, what we expect in terms of how our citizens expect to be treated here. And I think they get kind of who we are and what the expectation of treatment is. They seem to be, quite frankly, knowing the hiring process and having done this more than once now. I am excited with these two. Again, not that I'm trying to knock anybody else, because I know the other officers are great too. But this is a good fit for us, and I'm excited to have you all. So I will turn it over to either one of you to say hello, and then we'll move our way.
Okay.
I'm Justin. Super excited to be a part of the Churchill Borough. It seems like a lot like Irwin, which is where I came from. It's very community oriented, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity and hope that I can spend the rest of my career here.
Good to have you, sir.
I'm Libby. I came from a very different kind of department than what Churchill is now, but I'm excited to have this change in my life and to continue and hopefully and my career with Churchill Borough.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
look-
congratulations and welcome aboard.
Thank
Welcome
you.
aboard.
Welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So, you know, if you see them rolling down the street, now you know their names, who they are. You call them by name. If they, you know, you got something, need something, they're here for you. You know, one of the great things of our department is they should be serving you, and I think they understand that that's our role here in Churchill.
Yes.
Any other discussion coming out of you, Mr. Mayor, before I turn this to a motion?
Just one more thing to our two new officers too, is I do get a lot of compliments from people, our residents, to say that they really appreciate the way that the officers treat them, especially when you're riding down the street. If you stop, if you still toot, or if someone's out there, you roll the window down and just say hello. They really appreciate that closeness and that tight knit that our officers are out there and they care, and I know you do. But to show them that goes that extra step, and it really means a lot. So we appreciate it.
I agree in that space. I would point out, and I would be remiss if I, you know, I've always said I'm very upfront. I've spent 20 plus years in the space of civil rights litigation. And as a result, you know, I know the environment that we're in right now. I have an expectation that our officers treat all of our citizens fairly, justly, kindly, and with that same kind of will serve attitude. And I have no doubt in my mind that these two will meet that threshold. So just want to point that out because this is the world that I live in every day.
Yeah.
So having said that, congratulations to both of you. I'm happy to have you on board.
Thank you.
And now I would entertain a motion to accept the mayor's report.
I'd make a motion to accept the mayor's report for last month, the month of March.
Second.
Any discussion beyond what we've already kind of done outside the motion space? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the mayor's report and police report are accepted without opposition. This moves us on to some action items on the agenda. I apologize in that we ran into exec, so I really didn't kind of target these out for you all. And so as a result, I also see that I don't have the magical chat ability to chat them to you privately. So
this one goes to Diane.
Yeah, this one I did.
Yeah,
Don't worry, Matt. This one I got. This one I got.
Mr. President, I move that the council approve an ordinance of the Borough of Churchill amending Chapter 304 zoning of the Code of the Borough of Churchill to regulate the keeping of chickens. Should I read the summary?
Well, that would be inside the space of discussion. I've got a second already from Matt, so we are inside the space of discussion. So if you would like to read the summary or brief understanding what it is, that would be fine.
The ordinance establishes that the keeping of backyard chickens for personal use and enjoyment and the construction of the associated chicken coop and chicken run necessary for the keeping of backyard chickens shall be an accessory use allowable by permit in the R1, R2, R3, and R4 zoning districts of the borough, establishes criteria for residents to obtain a borough backyard chicken permit, provides living standards for the keeping of chickens in a safe, sanitary, and humane manner, defines chicken coop and chicken run, and establishes criteria for construction and maintenance of those structures, and establishes penalties for violations of above stated requirements.
Alrighty. Okay, and is there any other discussion of the matter? Been a long haul on the land of chickens, that's for certain. If there is not any further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right, and the
Mr.
ordinance.
President, because it's an ordinance, the council secretary will record each individual.
You're roll calling me? Are you
Well, there was
roll calling?
no, so if you're fine, I'll just record each individual.
It's without
say yes.
opposition. That's why I don't roll call it. So you can record it for each individual. Absolutely, I appreciate it. But unless I hear opposition, I won't roll call it. And that that was after years of always wanting to roll call through the whole thing, and then everybody gave me a bunch of shtick about it, if you will. And so I moved to only roll calling without opposition. But duly noted, absolutely duly noted. Thank you, Alex. His point being that as a ordinance, the individuals need to be noted on their vote. Not a problem. Duly noted.
Mr. President, may I just say that I am grateful to the council, grateful to our staff, grateful to the people in our community who have said what they felt about all of this over the years. And quite recently, we have felt a shift in how well people would accept chickens. I am thrilled that this is done. And I want to thank the citizens who've been involved in providing us with that input, and the members of the zoning committee, Matt and Adam, who've worked very diligently, and of course, Krista and Alex. So thank you.
Duly noted. I would point out to folks that this came up a decade ago when I was on council, and it was the absolute no across the board. So the shift and the change in terms of both Churchill and council is one that has been well received, and our residents, quite frankly.
And I would just, I'm sorry, you done, Jay?
No, go.
I was just gonna echo what Diane said. It was we appreciate all the help. The group of residents that did get together and really wanted to push for this. Being willing to put their expertise and do research and really work through things. So it's great to see folks wanting to be involved, and we appreciate it.
Well, I've got you talking, Matt. How do you feel about number 8?
Sure. I'd like to consider a resolution 4516. Make a motion to consider resolution 4516 to approve adopting the Allegheny County 2020 Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Second.
Thank you. I will spare from the reading of the entire paragraph and say that again, as we spoke about last week, there is a county hazard mitigation plan that our borough effectively adopts so that we have things covered, like if the roads wash out, if there's a massive disaster. And it also allows us a space in which, by having that we can receive funds should something like that happen. Which was the case with COVID, for instance. And so we have done this in the past. We'll continue to do this. It is a fairly comprehensive plan, so I don't think every nuance of it needs to be understood by us, but we do have our own emergency management. And so we pass this and align ourselves with the county. If there's anything that you'd like to add to that, Alex, I saw you nodding your head, feel free. Otherwise, I will move it on to further discussion. Is there any other discussion from council? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And the resolution is adopted. This will move us on to the next resolution, which deals with capital improvement. I will step back and see who would like to take it, or I will just call on Adam really quickly, whichever one works.
Well, if you already said it, I might as well just go ahead. Mr. President, I move that we approve a resolution of the Borough of Churchill adopting the capital improvements policy for the Borough of Churchill.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Excellent. Any discussion? So in this case, I will make Matt read it through because it's a space that he's in on the capital improvement, which is effectively us actually having a plan, which is an interesting space for us to be in. So I don't know if anybody had any other comment on it. If not, I will move us forward.
Did you want me to read it?
If you want to read it, that's what I was calling you.
All right, so capital purchases are necessary for the Borough of Churchill to carry out its mission to protect people and property. Therefore, the Financial and Legal Committee of the Council, along with administrative staff of the Borough, recommends the annual adoption of a capital improvement plan. The purpose of the capital improvement plan is to instill foresight and discipline to steward borough resources. Regular reference to this plan in public forums and formal documentation of the plan ensures transparency for taxpayers and residents while these large expenditures are made. Just as additional summary, that there was a lot of hard work that went into this so far from, the Finance Committee, the Infrastructure Committee, which I chair as well, was involved. And, ultimately the borough does a very good job already at, working with our capital and paving roads, upkeeping our infrastructure. This is our next step to be able to really plan ahead, to, be more forward thinking and to, just take the next step with all this. So we've done a really good job so far. We look forward to the work that's been done, through the Finance Committee, to help bring this to fruition. And we're excited to continue the work.
And thanks to both committees. And I know the work and actual kind of effort that went into kind of looking forward in our space rather than just being reactionary. So I appreciate you guys pushing that space for us. So is there any other discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, and it passes without opposition. This moves us on to road paving on the base bid. Yep.
I'd like to make a motion to for the Borough of Churchill to award the 2021 road paving program, including base bid and alternate number 2 to A. Liberoni. The base bid was for a total amount of $195,000, $195,347.19. Alternate number 2 was for $99,675.00 for a total expenditure of $295,022.19.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Again, recognizing as it lists kind of where we are, there were some additional alternate bids as well, but the constraints of our budget obviously do not allow us to do everything that we'd like. So we do what we can based on where our current budgetary considerations are. Additional comment, Matt, as infrastructure.
Yeah, so I was just going to, remind residents that this was part of our discussion here at the beginning of the year when we, we had to take that vote whether we are going to increase our tax millage. Part of our discussion was if we are going to do this, where's the money going to go? And we said we need to continue with our road paving. We've done a good job of it, to date, but we didn't want to let it start to fall behind. So this is that money being used. We were lucky that some of the companies seem to be, hungry right now. So we got some very good, good bids in, and it's going to allow us to, get roads paved and keep improving our infrastructure.
Thank you. Any additional discussion?
Yeah, just that it's noted that it's slightly above the 295,000, slightly above the budget amount of 283,000. But I think that could be handled. There may be some possible federal money that can alleviate that. So.
Duly noted. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, and passes without opposition. We will move on to in the world of infrastructure. There's going to be a lot of infrastructure for today if you read our agenda. It's time for the sewer committee to stand up and be counted. So I put the motion on for you all.
So I would make a motion for the Churchill Borough to award the 2021 sewer CCTV inspections and cleaning contract to the lowest qualified bidder, which was State Pipe Services, for a total price of $89,487.50.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Other than my dog barking in the background very loudly.
You want me to read this one out, I guess? So this project includes sanitary and storm sewer, closed circuit television, sewer cleaning, protruding tap cutting and removal, lateral launch camera investigations of sanitary sewer laterals, bypass pumping and blocking, and associated traffic control, resident notification, mobilization, and cleanup. So long story short, this has to do with the upkeep of our sanitary sewers and, actually taking video of the lines so that we can find problems before they cause major issues, and then also fix those issues to make sure that we're not getting stormwater into our sanitary sewer lines, which causes, more sewage that needs to be treated, and then flows down to the Alcosan plant, causes all types of issues with the wet weather, et cetera. So this is not only, makes good sense just from locally, but it also helps with the consent decree and some of the other larger things going on in Pittsburgh. And I would look to our engineer if there's any additional comments that should be made on this.
Yeah, just a couple of quick items. Matt, you covered it pretty well there. That the borough is required by the consent order and the operation maintenance plan to perform CCTV of 10% of your system on a yearly basis. So this is intended to keep those requirements, as well as to televise any sewers within roads to be paved so that those can be repaired prior to the paving work being completed. Also, just to mention, this is a unit price contract, so the total contract amount is based on bidding of a quantity that was provided, but the contractor will only be provided the work orders that are requested by the borough, and the final payment amount will reflect the actual units and items that were requested. Also, it is a 3-year potential renewable contract at the request of the borough. So on a year-to-year basis, the borough may make that determination of whether or not to renew it for both 2022 and 2023. That is all.
Thank you for the explanation. Greatly appreciated. I will make a point of self-deprecation. When I first came on council 11 years ago and I saw CCTV, I thought that Churchill had our own cable access program. And I was like, what the heck is this? So that was 11 years ago, just put it out there. So
It's definitely worth watching. It really is riveting television.
I've watched it. It is riveting. It's riveting when there's a problem, and it's only because I get to listen to Ralph's reaction. So unless there's any other discussion, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And we go through the magic of CCTV. As we go through, we've got 3 more on the sewer repair, the manhole, and the excavation. Just as a point, not for discussion, but just as a point of privilege. These are all kind of dealing with our infrastructure space, just so everybody recognizes that. Moving forward to number 12.
I'd like to make a motion for the Borough of Churchill to award the Kingsdale Road Storm Sewer Repair Contract to the lowest qualified bidder, who was Jet Jack Incorporated, for a unit price of $79,700.00.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion beyond the fact that this is one more kind of repair project that we have in terms of the infrastructure in order to keep ourselves going?
I would just go back and mention again that this was another project that was discussed, when we were talking about the millage increase and how important it was to get this fixed, since it is, failing in people's backyards, could be a danger to them. It was something we needed to do sooner rather than later. So again, it's the reason we appropriated some of this money, and now we're following through to make sure it gets done.
Magic of infrastructure. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, and we move on with that contract. That moves us on to manhole cover. Somebody give Matt a break.
Mr. President, I move to accept the first renewal period and award the 2021 manhole-to-manhole lining contract to Jet Jack Inc. for $83,580.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? As I say again, we're going to run through kind of the process from beginning to end in our sewer and infrastructure space.
I would just mention, as our engineer pointed out, you know, this also goes, the manhole to manhole lining goes with meeting some of the consent decree and, you know, actually relining those pipes to make sure water's not getting into our sanitary sewer system.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none.
I would just,
Oh, go ahead,
sorry.
Jen. Interrupt my
Sorry.
process.
I'm very sorry. I just did want to point out that these, as I mentioned with the 3-year CCTV project, this is actually both the manhole to manhole lining and excavation contracts are the renewal period for year 2 of those 3-year renewable contracts. Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries at all. Duly noted, and also duly noted that he spoke to the next motion as well, so that you need not have to say it. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And it passes without opposition, moving us on to the excavation contract. Who's going to take that today?
Go ahead, Adam.
Well, I'm losing track. We're 14, I think.
Correct.
We are at 14. That is correct.
A lot today. Mr. President, I move to accept the first renewal period and award the 2021 excavation contract for sewer repairs to the lowest qualified bidder, Solely Construction, Inc., for $156,321.83.
Second.
Any discussion? I think we've discussed our way through the process of infrastructure. At this point, if there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it passes without opposition. That was the most, we haven't quite finished really, because the true infrastructure in the big project is.
Oh, now I can see it.
I get the big one.
I was going to say that you and Kevin might fight over this one, but I will certainly.
Oh, if Kevin wants to do it, Kevin's welcome to
I
do
can
it.
see it. I can actually see the screen now. This is good.
Go ahead, Diane.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Mr. President, I move that the council direct the manager to work with the borough engineer to see that the bidding for the estimated 1.0 million plus Collins Road Pump Station project be advertised.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion outside of this has been a long and really hard done work to make sure, we talked about before, the risk of the current pump station, and that we are now moving to gravity flow, and this takes an exorbitant amount of work to get this done. Quite frankly, to Diane and to Kevin, who've done a really heavy lift in this space. And by heavy lift, I mean, this has been going on for a long time that they've been working at this. So I wanted to before we move forward, just tell them that I appreciate the work that's been put into this. The other thing that I would point out with this is that when we talk about that $1 million, that in fact we've received substantial grant money for this to make sure that it's not coming out of our pockets all the way and out of our taxpayers' pockets, but in fact we've been able to secure money from the state. And to that end, I would thank Jay Costa as well for his work with Churchill. That being the case, I will move it to any further discussion from council.
The other thing I'd like to say, Jay, past council members as well as past staff had a lot to do with this, bringing this forward. So it's appreciation on my part for them, and obviously for Senator Costa coming forward with the $400,000, and to Alcosan for providing the $800,000 plus. So, and Dennis, we're well on the way. We're on schedule.
Yes, we're on schedule. As is stated, we do anticipate bidding in May with a bid opening the first week of June to be prepared for discussion and vote to award at the June meetings.
Thank you.
Outstanding.
I would just like to mention, Mr. President, that the godsend, in my opinion, to our borough, Ralph Zatlin, is the person who went down into the pit at the pump station in the middle of the night, in thunderstorms, held the pump station together with safety pins. He is really the reason why we are here. So I want to make it very, very clear. And he deserves, you know, like a star tattoo on his forehead. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you.
I agree with that. Thank you. Although I will tell you, I will not put a star tattoo on Ralph's forehead.
But we'll also thank him. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, something else. There's a lot of things that he would like. A star tattoo on his forehead is probably not one of them. But for those of you who don't know, Diane's statement, and I think to everybody, without Ralph, this thing would have collapsed a while ago, and we would have been in you know, deep
doo-doo.
literally.
Quite literally.
So I think it is not an understatement to say that he has saved Churchill in that space. Any other discussion on this matter? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And yay, the work goes on. The work actually will happen. So that is exciting in that space. That closes the action items for today. We move on to a couple of discussion items. Just generally speaking, in the world of the kind of Churchill project. Next up in that space, it's like on May 5th is a planning commission meeting. And of course, the documents are available. Again, just pointing out the job that the staff has done to improve the ability for the public to access information has been amazing. Again, I can tell you the difference between a few years ago and now is night and day in the public's ability to access information, to access it readily, that it's available online for you, and they continue to work to improve that. But specifically in the space, that is kind of next step on that project. And we continue, I think, to work with, you know, both federal, state, local, you know, to make sure that we have something that's a best fit for Churchill, irrespective of how that turns. I don't know if people had any other discussion or comments on that particular project tonight. Yeah, it's in process, so I'm not surprised in that sense. The other kind of development space that we are in right now is with the Churchill Senior Community work that is, there was a variance in front of the zoning hearing board from Trek Development for tomorrow, Tuesday, April 13th, continued from March 22nd. On the plan up at the old Schaefer School. Again, the plans related to that are also available online. And this was a development to have somewhere between 30 and 40 cottage homes for senior citizens in Churchill. A couple, you know, near and dear in the space. That moves to, and I'm sorry, is there any comments or discussion, questions on that item? Alrighty. Any discussion on any council reports, anything for the engineer? I will open it up to council if you either want to discuss a particular report or have a question for the engineer, solicitor, manager, so forth.
I'll start because it's been a night all about infrastructure. You know, I just want to say that, you know, I appreciate the work that Dennis and Gateway has done for the borough. You know, they certainly work hard to keep our projects on track and, you know, make sure that we're getting the right improvements at the right times, you know, as well as, you know, helping find qualified contractors. So it's been a busy month or two here with everything going on, and we appreciate the continued support and, you know, that they're looking out for the best interest of the borough.
Thank you, Matt. That's agreed. And for clarity, they do that not just on our regular job or space, but that they are also our interest in watching out for us in all of our development projects. And whether that's the senior citizen project I spoke of, or the Woodland or the Westinghouse space, that we have our own folks on the ground eyeing it, that we're not just somehow relying on a developer to come to us and tell us what they think is in their best interest. And of course, he does that at such a low fee that we can only give his appreciation for that. What's that word? Pro bono, right? You're willing to give with pro bono? Is that what it is?
Not quite, but close.
Hey, he's got kids to feed, man. He's got kids to feed. So, any other comments regarding reports, development for the engineer, for the solicitor, for the borough manager? All righty. Any other kind of general comments from council, kind of the around the table space without me going through the Hollywood squares of it? If you have any comments, feel free to unmute and I can kind of just roll through y'all.
I just want to thank the ordinance committee and the residents who supported this. And I think it's a great example of how council and citizens can work together to bring about change. So thank you all for that. And all of you who worked on the exciting infrastructure. It seems to be a year for infrastructure. So thank you for that.
I want to say thank you to all the residents for their continued commitment to our community. Thanks to the council members and staff who've worked really, really hard. I know Adam and Kevin, Krista and Alex, we worked really hard, especially Alex and Krista on the finance committee and making sure that we, as a borough have everything lined up for what needs to be completed. So thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, and I just want to say again, kind of reiterating that, thanks to everyone. I think we went through a lot of things tonight, and all that work goes back. It wasn't just tonight. That stuff that has been, some of these things have been going on for years, and a lot of people have been working on it. So whether it's the backyard chicken ordinance, all the infrastructure, and all the work that Alex and Krista have done just since they've been on board here to really get us to the point where we're developing plans long term. So just thank you to all for that.
Thank you.
I'll take the stage, Dexter.
Certainly.
I want to thank Ken. Well, first of all, let me thank council for that work that they do with the infrastructure projects, the meetings that you attend, and coordinating all that work that has to be done, including the road paving, the sewer inspections, the linings, all that stuff. Excuse me. I know the residents certainly appreciate that when to control that flooding that takes place, because that's what most of those projects are designed to do, is to control that. The other thing was Ken talked about the trees, and I know Ken is on top of a lot of things. Years ago, I lost some hemlocks, but I did do a little research, and it's not that there's a gloom and doom for those trees. They can be injected with something. Am I correct? Okay. So if it was injected, they can, it's like getting some medicine. The other thing I wanted to say, I did, since Nicole spoke earlier, I did send her a little I don't have an email address for her. I try to send you something, I think on the Facebook page. Maybe you didn't get my message. So I'm glad for you that chicken ordinance coming back. And don't be surprised if I stop by some morning for two sunny side up, little piece of toast and a cup of coffee, just to see how good they taste. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Anybody else on council?
Yeah, I just, I appreciate all the staff and the rest of the council members and our residents as well. I did want to say thank you to our volunteer firefighters. It's not somebody I think that we thank very often, but just the other night when I was driving home, there was an incident on the road right near my house, and they were out quickly, got things taken care of, and we appreciate their hard work and keeping us all safe. So thank you. And Ralph, if you'll make sure you extend that to them.
Is it my turn?
See if Kevin.
Kevin?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Mr. President. Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to say one thing. I think this capital improvement plan is just that. It's a plan which I think we've been in need of for a while, and I think it'll go a lot toward understanding our finances and the need or the not need for future tax increases. So yeah, that's the reason behind it.
Agreed, duly noted. Moving to you then, Madam Vice President.
Okay. The first thing I want to say is that I want to welcome our two new officers. we've been able to manage pretty well during the last year using Zoom meetings, but I felt very uncomfortable with the fact that we were not able to welcome our new officers in person. So I'm looking forward to the day when we can all be in the same room and give them a proper welcome. But I'm very glad they're with us, and I agree with Jay that they're excellent candidates, and we're very fortunate to have them. The other thing is quickly about the backyard chicken ordinance. Now that this has passed and been adopted by the council tonight, the staff and the zoning committee will be working on the permit application. We want to do a good job with that and make sure that it is thorough and achieves its goal. And we'll be getting that done as soon as practical. So that's it. Thank you, as everybody else said, you know, for our staff, for all of the committee work. You know, we've been pretty amazing, not only us, but many other municipalities, the fact that we've been able to adjust to this situation and continue actually not just treading water, but moving forward is a testimonial to, you know, come and join us and serve the public, you know. So that's all.
Mr. Manager, anything from you, solicitor, engineer?
Just real quick for me, last Wednesday, as we were finishing up the planning commission meeting about 9:30, Churchill Borough Volunteer Fire Department got their first call, which was followed by about a half dozen other calls, including a house fire, pedestrian accident, an auto accident, a cooking fire, a CO alarm. And so while we were going to bed last Wednesday, they pretty much stayed up for the next almost 24 hours dealing with those events, including a pretty severe house fire in Forest Hills. And so we're working Wilkins Township, Forest Hills, and of course the Parkway keeps all of us busy. And thankful not only to our volunteer fire department for Forest Hills and Wilkins for backing us up, you know, when we have events that we can't handle, but to say thanks, as Matt did, to the volunteer fire department, because I got to go to sleep on Wednesday night. They didn't. Mm-hmm. And some of them were in the meeting for Hillwood, listening to the passionate comments by the public. And then they went out and served the public for the next half dozen hours or so, or dozen hours. It was a pretty hard stretch of time. So thanks to the volunteers for doing that.
Once again, that points us in the direction of Public Works. Ralph, anything outside of your outstanding service and accolades that everyone's giving you tonight, and duly so? Anything we need to be aware of?
No, I just want to, like Alex stated and Matt had stated, we had a couple busy days. Actually, it was between Wednesday to Friday, we had 17 fire calls, 2 working structure fires, 4 accidents, and some burnt food and a CO alarm. So we were quite busy for a couple of days. The other thing I'm so happy about is we're finally moving forward with the pump station. Yay. That's all I have.
That is a genuine yay. I recognize that for sure. Krista, anything on your end?
I just have to say thank you to the council for passing the resolution for the capital improvement plan. I'm really excited to work with everyone over the upcoming year to formulate the initial plan.
Outstanding. That, I believe, leaves the difference between you all logging off is me. And so outside of thanking everyone, I have agreed to cede a minute of time to my daughter. Some of you may remember about 4 years ago, when she was 4, she spoke at council. At 6, she spoke at Pittsburgh City Council on gun control, actually. And so 4 was about, I believe, the park. And so we will see what today seeds. So if she doesn't do that to me while we're speaking. So the floor is yours. Are you speaking or are you leaving?
Speaking.
Okay, well, floor is yours. Speak up.
Okay, well, I want to talk about...
You gotta look at the camera. They can't see you. Go.
Okay, well, I want to talk about the park and...
Speak up. Speak up. Floor is yours. Go, kid.
Okay, I want to talk about the park and how it's going to be structured and what we're going to have.
What would you like?
I want like a yellow slide with me and my dad were thinking about having like this merry-go-round that people with disabilities can go on, right?
Your floor. Don't look at me. Look at them. You got 30 seconds left, kid. You're on a timer.
And I think that this park shouldn't just be for like ordinary kids. It should be for kids who have disabilities, but kids who don't have disabilities can go on it too. And they can have fun with their friends who have disabilities, and they don't have to be like split apart. And that's it.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I cede my time to my daughter. I thank you all.
Thanks, Hannah.
Yeah.
And she ran off and is now going to hate me for the rest of the day, but that's okay. There she is. And so at this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Tottenham fan.
All right. Oh, yes. And she
Boo Tottenham!
her party comment, for those of you who don't know, was Boo Tottenham. We are an Arsenal household, and it turns out our solicitor roots for another football club. So thank you all. Game, set, match. I've got that second. Have a wonderful month if I don't see you, and if I do, we got a lot of work to do. All right. Take care, everyone.
Okay.
Good night, all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. I'm still here.